Wonder how big his is. No, his wrist. Yeah, his wrist. So I'm talking about his wrist. But I think today I have a watch that might fit that big fella. I'm talking about the BLWRX 300m diver. So let's awkwardly bend over a table and take a look at this behemoth. Jiminy crickets. All right, guys, so on my wrist today, I've got my vintage Timex circa 1980. I love this watch. I love the vintage look of it. The acrylic crystal looks great. I've got it on a blue benchmark strap. This is going to be one of the cheapest leather straps you can get off of Amazon. I'm assuming that it is leather. It says it is. I have no reason to believe that it's not. So far, I'm pretty impressed with this strap. This is going to be an 18mm blue version. And here is today's watch. This is going to be the BLWRX 300m diver. You've got a 45mm case, a thickness of 14.5mm, lug to lug of 54mm. That's really effectively 61 if you take into account the protruding end links. 24mm lug width that tapers to 22 down to the clasp and back up to 24 at the clasp. So if you're looking to pick one of these up off of Amazon.com, you can see they have a variety of colors, so there is certainly something for everyone there. And the price at $139 really is a great price for what you're getting with this watch. You've got a 120-click unidirectional bezel. The action on it is pretty gritty. It seems very plasticky. It's not dissimilar to the Neymar version of this watch, although they have different sizes, which I will go into in just a bit. Very little back play, so you're going to get dead-on accuracy with where you put it. Yep. A really beautiful aluminum insert on the bezel in a forest green color. The lume on the watch is pretty good. It's going to have quite a generous dollop of BGW9 on the hands and indices. On the dial, you have all applied indices with the gold gilt border. The hands are also done in Mercedes style, and they are also gilt style hands. The chapter markings around are also done in the same color gold. You have BLWRX on the dial just below the 12 o'clock and above the 6 o'clock, water resistant and 300 meters. So I thought I was getting an homage to the Tudor Black Bay 58, the Harrods version, which is the version that you can get only at Harrods department store in London. I believe it's London, I think so. So I thought I was getting an homage to that. So this is actually substantially larger than the Tudor Black Bay from Harrods. Much, much larger. And I will do a size comparison. The Neymar version of this watch, I guess you could call it the version of this watch, is 41. So I'm gonna grab that really quick, and I just want you to see the size difference between these two watches. Yeah, massive, massive difference in size on these two watches. And this is not on BLWRX. I thought I was getting a 41 like this Neymar here. But it is certainly much bigger, and it is listed as that. It's listed as 45. They weren't trying to hide anything, nothing like that. Just stupid me thought they just changed the logo on the dial, and that was going to be good enough for them, but they definitely went with a much, much larger case. So I'm going to start with what I don't like about this watch, because there's probably I would think you would be able to figure out what I would like about this watch. Of course, you know, sapphire crystal, 300 meters of water resistance, yada, 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 stainless steel case, you know, all brushed, all the stuff I really, really like. But what I don't like about this watch is clearly the size. I mean, this is massive. You're looking at 61mm lug to lug. I don't know whose wrist this is for, but it is certainly not for my wrist. Far too large. And if you look at the hands on the watch, they don't seem to be large enough. Like that hour hand is very small compared to the Neymar version. Let me bring that up. I think they just used the same size hands, it would appear, as what is on this Neymar, but you can see that the hour hand appears far smaller on the BLWRX than it does on the Neymar, and the second hand actually reaches the chapter indices there, the second markings on the dial. It reaches it far better than on the BLWRX. There is a substantial gap there. And the same thing with the hour hand. The hour hand reaches to the index much, much better on the Neymar than it does on this BLWRX. So I'm not sure what they were thinking. I'm sure they just had a stockpile of hands left over from the Neymar style, so they just threw it on this watch, and I think that was kind of a mistake there. They just proportionately, it does not work at all with this dial. Also, with the dial being much larger on this BLWRX than on the Neymar, they've added a little half baton at the 3 o'clock that is not present on the Neymar, which I think was a kind of a nice touch to make the dial have a little bit more symmetry. So clearly on the Neymar version, you know what this is homaging. It's the Black Bay 58, the Tudor Black Bay 58. And I don't know why they didn't keep this same size if they're going to. I'm assuming this is an homage of the Tudor Black Bay Harrods version, but it just misses the mark on the sizing. I mean, the quality of the build and everything is great. The bracelet is really good, very little play, really solid. It's push pin bracelet. The clasp is going to be pretty much what you find on the other BLWRX and on the Neymar versions. 3 micro adjustments on the clasp. The back case has the BLWRX logo. It's got BL reverse back-to-back 1995 there. You've got sapphire crystal WR 300M equals 30 ATM automatic movement. The movement in this is the same as what's in the Neymar. It's the unbranded NH35A movement, so no problems with the movement there. But this thing is very much just a hunk of metal. It is extremely, extremely heavy. It's extremely large. I feel like I could just, go ahead and, let me see if I can do it here. Put the clasp back on. You could just really just put this on your hand, just like this, and you could, well, what am I doing here? You could just sock somebody in the face with it, and that's probably what I'd use it for. Like if I was going downtown to buy something that I shouldn't be buying, just give whoever gives me any trouble a little rap on the old noggin with this. It's going to cause a lot of damage. And honestly, the price of this, really, who cares if I mess it up? But it's definitely going to cause damage to somebody's face without a doubt. I mean, don't get me wrong, this does look nice. It really does look nice. It's a little bit harder to read, I would say, than the Neymar version. You got to kind of be in some pretty substantial light to be able to read it. The sapphire crystal does have just a beautiful distortion there, and that all looks nice. But to me, this is a huge miss from a company that delivers outstanding watches. I'm a huge fan of their 1,000-meter diver that's 43 millimeters with the loomed ceramic bezel. I think that watch is one of the best watches out there you can get, value for money. And the price on this, it is pretty cheap. For what you're getting, really value for money with this watch, it really is unbeatable. If you can deal with the size, I think, it's something that, you shouldn't really hesitate to pick up if you like larger watches. And there it is on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. That lug to lug, gosh, it's 61. I mean, you can see there's a gap. It does overhang quite a bit. It just takes up so much real estate on your wrist. I mean, I guess it doesn't really look too bad, but I don't really know who this watch is for. It's for a big guy, without a doubt. And I mean, there's a lot to be said for making watches for big guys. I've mentioned that in the past, and that's fine. I just don't know why you would homage a watch with the Tudor Black Bay 58 and make it that big. Now, it's really hard for me to not recommend this watch to you. The price is really outstanding for what you get. I would certainly recommend getting the Neymar version of this watch. It fits much better if you can find it. I know their stock is getting depleted because I don't think they're making any more of those. And, you know, that's definitely the way that I would go if you were looking for a Tudor Black Bay Homage. And they do have a forest green version of this in the Neymar stable. And that's definitely probably the one I would get over this watch. But, I don't know, guys. This is a tough call. If you like big watches, I'd say you wouldn't be disappointed with this at all. But for me, I mean, gosh, that's got to be at least, you know, 190 grams, I would say. I don't have a scale with me here today, but yeah, 100. Yeah, it's pushing 200, I'd say. And this is like 3 or 4 links taken out for my wrist. So you still have a lot of adjustment, you know, that you can do. There's still a couple of links that can be taken out. But if you have a small wrist, I'd say, you know, if you're going to be under 7 inches in the wrist, you're not even going to be able to size this to yourself. I think, you know, I don't know. They just missed the mark big time on this one. I don't know how they're selling. It is a good looking watch, but man, gosh, BLWRX, if you're listening, make this in a 41 version. Leave off those stupid numbers you did on the Neymar, and I think we are in business. Well, there you go, the BLWRX 300-meter diver. I don't think I can recommend this watch to anybody that has under a 7-inch wrist, but if you're a guy that has a head this big, you'd probably enjoy it. All right, guys, before we go, I'd like to say that Watch Me Go Broke was selected as one of the top 20 YouTube watch review channels to watch in 2020. So very excited about that. This is a comprehensive list of all the best guys, and I am thrilled to be on it. Truth be told, I probably nominated myself for this while I was in a drunken stupor. So besides that, this list is great. I'll leave a link to the blog in the description below the video. I'll see you next time.